Hey guys, welcome back to Economics and Comics. In the chat, let me know if you can hear us. I'm Bill, of course, and this is Joel from GoneWithTheTwins.com.
Thanks for having me back.
You guys know Comic Comic Joel. We're just going to go ahead and do this live because, well,
we just got back.
And you know it's easier to go live. Just kind of hang out with the guys in the chat a little bit, see what they say. There's a lot of It fans out there. This is part 2, of course, and
there will be a few spoilers, I think. So
I mean, we might as well spoil because honestly, this movie's already been done. Oh, it's okay. We got about 5 people in here. That's fine. They're gonna watch it tomorrow. So yeah, Pennywise is back. The kids are adults now. If you guys saw the original Stephen King stuff,
the movie from the 80s, which was a television movie with Tim Curry as Pennywise, that one was fairly faithful to the basic beats of the novel, and this one is as well.
Yeah,
this one actually goes a little further into following what is done in the novel, although they have dispensed with a lot of the really hard to grasp nonsense that Stephen King did put in the novel. So things like the turtle that created the universe, things like that. And they do go a little bit into the Native American rituals and things like that. And
yeah, that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, it coming from space and crashing down into the town hundreds of years ago or whatever it was. So and those things are from the book, but they go into it a little more in the novel. And here, I think they dumb it down just a bit so that it's a little easier to grasp. But it's still, a lot of it is nonsense. There's a lot of really nonsensical
aspects. Can we describe what its final form looks like?
Yeah, well, for me, that was what sort of a part of disappointment is that in the book, it's a giant spider.
Yeah.
And in the 80s television series, they actually did a giant spider. That was kind of a practical effect. Here, now that it's 2019, it is all CG, and it's still kind of a giant spider.
It's a giant spider, but the real form is 3 glowing balls. It's 3 balls from outer space, which threw me for a loop. I mean, look, guys, we love it because it's scary. It's like a modern day, in my mind, Freddy Krueger because it can do anything, and it feeds off your fear.
Yeah.
But that part was good of it. All the scares, all the horror. I mean, I don't get really scared. There's a couple parts where I'm like, whoa, whoa. But it's because they build and they build and they build and they build and then they hit you with it.
Yeah.
You know it's going to come, but there's
a lot of that walking down a dark, corridor inside the haunted house, underground, walking up to a curtain or something and they pull it aside. It's those things that most horror movies they do that stuff. It's the boo moment, the jump scare is what it is. And for me, it got a little formulaic after a while. The first few times they get you, I think. After the 10th time, it's kind of like I know exactly what's coming.
Yeah, you know what's coming. They're pretty obvious. Yeah. But I mean, for basically the movie itself, there's some things we'll talk about. But it takes place after It Part 1, and they're adults now, and it's 27 years later. And they're going back because it's back. And so they almost make it seem like it's back for them, not for more kids.
Yeah. Well, in the context of this, in the film, only Isaiah Washington, what's his name? Isaiah Mustafa plays Mike. And he's the only character that stays in the town of Derry. All of the other ones, as adults, they move off to other places. And so they all forget basically what happened to them as kids, except for Mike. So 27 years later, he sees the clown again, Pennywise. So he knows it has returned, and so he calls up
balloon.
Yeah, that's true. He sees a message from the clown.
Yeah,
we see the clown. He doesn't.
But yeah, what's interesting is that Mike's the only guy that stayed in Derry. Everyone left, and anyone that left Derry and had a life forgot about everything that happened in Derry. Only when you're close to the source of whatever. Only Mike remembered.
Yeah. Except for Beverly, who's played by Jessica Chastain as the adult. She still has nightmares all the time of people dying. But
because
she doesn't remember.
Was taken with the lights.
The dead lights.
Yeah, because she was like frozen. Now the spider, it's a giant spider, dude, with its Pennywise's face on it.
Everyone says, I wanted to see the spider.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's badass, but
it's larger than it was in the 80s one.
In the beginning of the movie, like one of the main characters, the brother whose brother got killed, he's a writer and for movies and stuff. And they're always saying, they're like foreshadowing, like, oh, the ending of the story was horrible. Rewrite this movie. The ending is horrible. In my mind, I kept thinking to myself, okay, the ending of this movie is going to be horrible because it kept telling us.
I fully believe that's an inside joke because Stephen King's novel, when it first came out, I believe it did get critically was well received, but I think a lot of people had issues with the ending.
Well, I'm one of them, and no matter what they do, the ending was stupid. Anyway, so they get everyone together. Okay, again. If you've seen the old movie, TV show.
Yeah, it was a TV.
30 years ago? I don't know. 30 years ago, maybe.
I believe it was the 80s.
It's almost the same thing where the kids fight it and then they go back. This is it part 2. So, then they've got to go. So the mic, it's so stupid, though. It pisses me off, Joel, because I love it. I love it and for the horror factor, guys. I love it. Scary clown, scary Freddy type stuff, whatever. But dude, all of a sudden they get thrown in and there's this like Indian tribe, Native American tribe, and there's a way to kill it. And you have to get all these tokens, like something from your past memory to burn and do that. It just, and then, oh yeah, by the way, it's an alien.
Yeah. And this is all stuff from the novel. So they're following the novel faithfully, but it is, I think, and maybe even for those that read the novel, it's still kind of like, what is going on here? But
I think when you read it,
I've
never read it. Okay, that's why it bothered me. But
yeah, I think it makes maybe a little more sense when you read it. But at the same time, it still feels like they have no plan. Oh, we go back to this town. Now what do we do? How do we kill it? Oh, wait, there's this crazy Native American ritual. I've seen how to do it in the future and all this stuff. And so we can have to trap it in a bag and
the stupid basket. They've got this stupid basket. It looks like the air balloons, like the basket you would sit in kind of. And it's just, here's what I don't understand, guys. Okay. In the first one, they beat it. Well, they pushed it back into its hole for another 27 years, but they beat it because they weren't afraid anymore. Now they're 27 years older. They come back, they've lost their memory, and they remember and they get scared again. Okay. But you also remember that not being afraid beats it. So they go and they're afraid. It's just, God damn it.
But I guess in the context of the film, the idea is that he's trying to scare them. I guess he gets more
scare
powerful.
him again, so he can kill him.
He gets more powerful. More scared to get. And so, but as far as the actual horror goes, did it get you at all? Like, was it entertaining? In that aspect,
the plot's stupid. Okay, but the horror, if you're going for a scary movie, it's that it's great in that aspect. In my mind, I loved it for that. I still feel like it's Freddy Krueger in a clown suit. That's because all the things he does, how he changes. There's a lot of a lot of this and that, and it's scary.
There's a lot of building to a jump scare, and then they hit you with another one right away after, and so they kind of get you. I think.
Yeah, and the building to the scare is like it's coming, right? And you're like, okay, and you like hold your breath. It's okay, I'm not going to jump or whatever. And then you're like, okay, it's not coming.
Yeah. They pull aside the curtain, but nothing's there.
And then and then a little bit longer. And then boom, they hit, and it's like this. Whoa, that's it. So, but Pennywise is great, though. I mean, that dude's badass.
Bill Skarsgård.
Now, he was in a show that I watched once before. I think it was like a werewolf vampire or something, some weird show. But he's a really good actor. His eye like goes over here and all the time. And we were talking about it earlier. Apparently,
he can do that.
He can make his eyes do that. So we were discussing why maybe that's why they hired him.
That's certainly a perk of
because he could make his eyeballs do the lizard thing. But
for me, I didn't find the movie super scary, and I think it's because that it becomes formulaic with those jump scares. You know it's coming, so you can anticipate it. They do a few things to still get you, I think, with those jump scares. But for me, a lot of the imagery that I enjoy seeing in horror movies like this are practical effects, and here they resort to a lot of CG. So everybody's getting chased by giant CG monsters, and it's
they're
fun.
Pretty good. They almost get you over and over. They almost get you.
Yeah, but
they're cool looking.
I really like it when they go practical effects because it just looks better. It lasts. It stands the test of time longer, I think. And they even go so far as to do a homage to The Thing, which is one of the greatest practical effect monster movies of all time. And when you watch the movie,
are you talking about the little Well, anyway,
I don't want to ruin that.
Well, that's kind
but they even with that, it's a lot of CG in that. So
Logan says he's going to go see the movie. Logan, it'll be scary. You'll like it. Tony says the director of the movie is going to be doing the Flash movie. Think it's going to do a good job. Yes, honestly, I do think
he's a competent director. Andy Muschietti.
It'll look great. Thank God that's a totally different story. And then, how did the bully survive the fall down the well? I don't know, but he survives, and he's a main character in this movie.
Yeah, the Bowers kids are back. The bullies from the first movie. I don't remember. You were trying to
just
tell me.
The one that got possessed by it in the first one, where he's on this killing spree. He survives, and he's back. Doing its goodies. There's a lot of stuff.
How does that make sense, right? That the clown can possess one person and get them to do their bidding.
I don't know. I don't know, Joel. I found a lot of parts interesting. There were some good actors in it, but yeah, I agree. I think Bill Hader was great in this movie.
He was. Actually, the whole cast is really, really. Not only do they do a great job, they're also, it's really well cast, because in this film they wisely do cut back and forth between the current adults and then the kids. So you really get to see the way they look as kids, and then how they've translated to the casting choice as adults, and it's superb. Everybody,
the girl's easy.
But I mean, they've even picked actors who not only look a little bit like the kids, but they also choose that they put in the mannerisms.
You throw on some glasses, and that's what actors do. Comedian actors are always the best actors anyway. How does it die? Dude, the same way, basically the same thing. They haven't
really. They're pretty faithful to the novel and to the original 80s.
They like banish him, but the truth of the fact is, it's the same as Freddy. You can kill Freddy, but he's going to come back. I feel like they finalized. They're making a point to say that it's over.
Yeah,
because after they kill him, they remember everything when they leave the town, and whenever they left the town, they started to forget things in the first movie. So I don't know. The same way they're not afraid of him, they make him feel weak, and then they kill him. But whatever. I mean, look, honestly, it's a 2 hour 45-minute movie, guys.
It's long,
and the first 2 hours is the best part. The finale is the poop, at least for me.
It does drag the ending. I think it's because it's almost 40 minutes of kind of just like a chase at the end, and it does drag on a little bit. But I never really felt like oh my god, this is 3 hours long. It never really felt like that. I think the pacing was still just decent enough that it didn't bother me that length.
Says, how do we like the Bob Gray scene, Pennywise without makeup? That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it was fine. It was like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. They also, and I don't recall if they did in the part 1 or chapter 1, but in chapter 2, they don't really explain any more about where he comes from.
This is an interesting part.
They do show some things that are like that you see a picture on the wall of him as a normal man. And
so the girl character goes back to her house, her old house, to get the token, and there's an old lady living there, and the old lady's basically supposed to be Pennywise's daughter, and it shows pictures of Pennywise as a clown.
Well, they show him as a regular man too, I think, in the photographs.
Yeah, but he was a clown, though.
Yeah. There's a scene of him putting on the clown makeup.
So what I don't understand is,
there's no
like, if it's an alien, right, and it came down, did it take over that guy as a clown, and it killed the guy and pretended to be him as a clown and start killing kids?
I believe it explains in the novel, but here they don't explain.
Yeah, so I don't know what the hell.
I think a lot of this movie, if you can kind of get past the really weird, the deadlights and the got to go on a scavenger hunt for tokens, those kind of things. If you can kind of get past that, I think you can sit back and enjoy the scares.
Look, it's a horror movie, guys. If you're going to go see a scary movie, then go see this. We're not, it's not Academy Award winning. And we're just trying to, myself, I'm not a movie critic. He is. But, I'm trying to break it down, looking at all angles too, trying to be on his level a little bit. But straight up, if you want to see a scary movie, horror movie, like scary clowns and stuff like that, this is the movie. But story-wise, and I hate to say it about Stephen King, which is insane, but it just, a lot of it just doesn't make any damn sense. Like aliens and the ending the ending was like 20 minutes long after the ending, and it was just boring.
Yeah, well, they don't quite.
They had
pull
to complete it.
Yeah, they don't quite pull a Lord of the Rings where the ending just keeps going and going. But they could have certainly trimmed off 15, 20 minutes of that film, and we'd have been fine. I'll give you one kind of aspect maybe that you don't think about too much is there's a very technically and just brilliant sequence in a House of Mirrors, and I don't know if you would ever like think about the way they have to film that scene. But
without cameras,
yeah, exactly, and it's truly a fantastic scene the way it's done. And he's constantly running into what you think is space, but he's running into a mirror and things like that. So
yeah, they do the House of Mirrors. It's kind of like Enter the Dragon,
and that was probably one of the better kind of jump scares, anyways, too. So
yeah, what's his name's trying to save a kid, and they're in the House of Mirrors. Yeah.
But it's a very cool scene, and it's very
one's on the one side, the kid's in the middle, and Pennywise is on the other side. And if Pennywise is banging his head on the glass to crack it.
It's a pretty good scene.
Oh yeah, it's good. But it's just what I'm saying. The super scary parts are like a millisecond. I mean, they're so fast, but your mind and your brain can process it and see it all, But it's so fast when it comes to killing kids and stuff like that because it's killing kids. But I think
one of the reasons everything is so quick is because they're using CG. It's not a real kid there. It's not people getting torn up and whatnot. It's all computer, or some of it's practical, but most of it's computer. So that's why it's so quick. Because if they let you linger too long on it, and some of the creepy crawly monsters, if they let you linger on it, you look at it and you're like, well,
I lingered for a while just getting to the kill scene. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you,
but
guys,
I'm talking about the actual jump, the actual boo moment.
Yeah, the boo. There's some funny parts too. I just love the the deformed people running around, tall, big, small, ghostly, funny, jumpy. It's all good, man, except the ending sucked. So, but it's a horror movie. Is it supposed to be the greatest ending of all time? I don't think so. It is Stephen King. Now, I gotta say something really fast. Usually there aren't previews before the movies, but they previewed a movie, and it was The Shining Part 2, dude. The kid, well, they don't call it that, but the kid in The Shining grows up, and it continues. Dude, that looked dope. I was like, oh my God, they're bringing back The Shining.
Well, he wrote the book, Dr. Sleep, and that's what this is based on.
Well, I might want to try to read that first.
Yeah, read Shining and then read Dr. Sleep.
Well, I've seen Shining. I don't need to read that.
The movie America, is completely different from that book.
It's got to be close.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Oh, damn it. All right. I got too many comic books to read. Anyway, look, the spider looked like a giant Pennywise, dude.
It was basically a giant CG spider with Pennywise's head.
You know how his arms have the ruffles on his outfit? His legs and the arms have the white ruffles to the clown suit. So he had a bunch of those and like claws. But
so it was a lot larger than the 80s version, but also less impressive.
But in the 80s, dude, it wasn't Pennywise's face.
No, it was just a giant big spider. Yeah.
In this one, it's Pennywise's face. So yeah, and also they had a Joker preview too in that movie, and I tell you what.
Somebody mentioned the restaurant sequence, and there are a lot of scenes like that where there's this slow build.
Oh, that's great.
To something big, and when they do it effectively, it's really really cool.
Yeah, this look again. I'm not saying the movie was horrible. I didn't like the ending, but as a scary movie goes, the first 2 hours of all the scary parts and everything, all the CG, all the whatever, however they do it, was dope. Okay. So it's good for a horror movie.
I mean, if you like the first one, the scares are the same style.
I think number 2 is better in regard to scares.
There's
a lot more CG.
It's a lot more movie too, though.
Yeah, it's
an extra hour.
3 hours. And they do flashbacks to the kids, and they got to like redo everyone's origins. How does Eddie die? Was that the first guy?
Eddie is James Ranson. He is the one who's scared all the time.
Oh, yeah, Eddie tries to be a hero. There you go. And he loses. I think, or in the other movie. And then one at the end. But Tim's saying that a lot of people didn't like the ending. Yes, Fortnite, he does, and it's really sick, dude. So we're not going to go on forever, but overall, I enjoyed it as a horror movie. I had a guy behind me kicking my chair for the entire movie, dude. And I would just look at him and look. I swear I wanted to go crazy on him. And then another guy saying all this stuff. I mean, it was an interesting theater. But for a preview, for a sneak peek or whatever. But overall, first 2 hours was a lot of fun. It was a long movie.
Yeah,
there's a lot of writing.
I didn't feel how long it was too much. There's a few moments, and then maybe at the very end, it does feel like a bit of a drag. But overall, I think the pacing's good. If you like this sort of thing, you're gonna like this movie. If you like the previous It Chapter 1, how could you not like this? It's the same style of scares. It's you get to see the kids still. You get to see them as adults. They do a good job of doing all that. Now, me personally, I think I liked It Chapter 1 more simply because it's more fun to see the kids, I think, doing all the scares in the haunted house and those kind of things. As adults, they're great actors, but I think it's not quite the same. It's also not really as scary when the monsters are scaring adults. It's scarier when it's little kids being terrorized, I think. I think that's just the nature of it.
They kind of cut away from the Stanley suicide. Just a little bit.
It was actually more graphic in the 80s movie.
Yeah, that's true. This one, you just, but anyway, yeah, that's
people just want the gory
they really
details.
want everything. Look, again, it's not real different than the old movie.
Yeah.
But technology nowadays makes the scares better. It's enjoyable, and
yeah, I think the boo moments are more visually disturbing simply because of the times. They can do more with it. They can make it grosser.
I gotta admit, as boring as the first one was, the original from the 80s, I liked it better.
You like the 80s?
I like the original better.
Well, yeah, it's tough. I mean, Tim Curry had such a great...
So what was that ending, basically? They win. Is that easy? They win. Have you seen the other one? It's the same damn thing. So anyway, we're going to let you go. We don't want this to be too long, but we wanted to go live and just get it out of the way. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like horror movies, go check it out. It's not an Academy Award. You're not looking for the best story ever, even though it is Stephen King. It is pretty
it is
cool,
possible
though.
Some of the actors might get some nods.
Get out of here, dude. They weren't that great. So what you got? Oh, check out gonewiththetwins.com. Check their site out. They have reviews on everything. If you guys are new to the channel, please sub. By the way, I have a 4,000 sub contest about to. Yes, the kid in the funhouse dies. Trust me, and it's good too. He gets it good. So check his site out. Give me a thumbs up if you can, and check out my 4,000 sub contest as well. A lot of good things happening over here. Thanks again, Joel.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing me.
And we'll see you later, Pennywise. So hopefully that'll be it. If they do a number 3, I ain't seeing it. Later.